I'd like to have everyone's attention, please. I'm Mike Barber, the mayor of the town of Christensburg, and I want to welcome everyone to Christensburg. Thank you for being with us today. I want to welcome our governor, our Secretary of Transportation, the CEO of Norfolk and Southern, our senators, our congresspersons, our state representatives, and delegates, and especially our local elected municipal representatives, all here in the NRV. Thanks for gathering to celebrate this milestone in River Valley and the state of Virginia. The town of Christensburg is proud to have been selected as the site for the future passenger rail station. We believe this station will meet many of the town's current goals and priorities in relation to transportation, connectivity, economic development, and promotion of regional tourism, not only in Christensburg, but in the entire New River Valley. Christensburg ties to rail run very deep. We've been ingrained in our history since mid-1980s, when the depot in Cambria was established on the Virginia-Tennessee line. The rich mining heritage throughout the region contributed to the success of the rail system, and the depot helped drive development of the town and region. Passenger rail service ceased in Christensburg in 1970, and today we're investing in reviving that part of our history. From the beginning, bringing passenger rail back to the New River Valley has been a collaborative effort between our regional partners, legislators, and transportation representatives. One of our biggest supporters for this initiative has been Secretary of Transportation Shannon Valentine. 12 years ago, Secretary Valentine led the legislative effort to launch the first state-supported passenger rail train anchored in Lynchburg. She has been a proponent of intercity passenger rail since she was appointed in 2018. She views passenger rail as a vital way to improve passenger, commuter, and freight rail service, establishing a pathway to separate passenger and freight options, and creating a link to our national rail network by connecting the Northeast and the Southeast corridors. Please assist me in welcoming Secretary Valentine.
Thank you, Mayor Barber. Hi, everybody. It is great to be with you. Thank you for welcoming us to the beautiful town of Christensburg and all the work and all the effort that Christensburg and Blacksburg and the New River Valley have done for many years to prepare for this day. It is an honor, as always, Governor, to be with you and all of our distinguished guests today. Mr. Jim Squires, CEO of Norfolk Southern, Senator Edwards, Delegate Hurst, Congressman Morgan Griffith, thank you. Haven't seen you in a while. It's great to have you. I understand that Senator Jennifer Mcclellan is joining us. Hello, nice to have you. May I present to you our Director of Rail and Public Transportation, Jennifer Mitchell. Jennifer, where are you? Just so much great work. And a great partner, I have to say. Deputy Secretary John Lawson is here. Our new Executive Director of the Virginia Passenger Rail Authority, DJ Statler, is here. DJ, thank you for being here, sir. DJ is going to be responsible for running all this new passenger rail service that we have in Virginia. A huge job, and welcome. Our Chief of Rail, Mike Mcclellan, couldn't do it without you. Just tremendous work. Our CTB member, Ray Smoot, thank you, sir. It has been a long journey. And your partner, Wally Nelson, thank you so much. Said it was going to happen. To the New River Valley Passenger Rail, the entire coalition, to Mike Mcclellan and John Edwards from Norfolk Southern, Tim Bentley, if you're here. I know Tim Bentley's here. There's Mike Mcclellan. Anyway, just so great to work with you. Thank you so much. Let's see. And, you know, I know that Senator Cree Deeds and Delegate Terry Austin could not be with us today. But can I just say what great partners they've been with us in transportation and in passenger rail. And a little shout out to Deputy Secretary Nick Donahue, who is out on paternity leave, which he delayed, helping with all these rail negotiations. But certainly he is with us. As he just sent me a text, and I said, don't worry, you will be with us today. I would like to just recognize former State Senator William Wampler as well. When I worked with him in the General Assembly, he had a great vision for passenger rail, as has John Edwards for many, many years. So just thanks to so many people. I saw Charlie Warren earlier, and Charlie said, Shannon, you know, this has been a dream for 22 years. It all started with the Trans-Dominion Express, and it's so true. On so many shoulders we are standing today. And Senator Edwards, I don't know if you remember, but I was the delegate in the House who carried your Trans-Dominion Express Authority legislation, which we managed to get through subcommittee, full committee, third reading in the House, and for some reason it would be sent to appropriations. Don't know. But we are here today because something happened in 2009. Something changed as the Commonwealth was putting together a new statewide rail plan under the direction of then DRPT Director Matthew Tucker. Amtrak was conducting ridership studies and identified the route between Lynchburg and Washington as the most underserved in Virginia. With that knowledge, and with the support of Norfolk Southern CEO Wick Moorman and Bruce Wingo, some legislators, a bipartisan group, came together and in person and through signatures to make the case for a new train anchored in Lynchburg, Virginia. I will be forever grateful to Delegate David Toscano, who joined me in making the case, to then Governor Tim Kaine and former Secretary of Transportation Pierce Homer, and to Delegates William Fralin, Ed Scott, and Rob Bell for signing on to this initiative. The result of that effort was a $17.5 million three-year pilot that was inaugurated on October 1st, 2009, my wedding anniversary. So it shows you how much fun my house is. Launched on that day, launching the very first Northeast Regional and putting in motion the historic decision to invest in inner-city passenger rail for the first time in Virginia's history. And over the next 12 years, so much has changed. Virginia-sponsored rail has grown from one route to 4, one train to 6 round trips, ridership from 125,000 to 971,000 in December of 2019, just prior to the pandemic, the best month in our history, and January of 2020 up 31% over January of 2019. Even today, as we are just emerging from the pandemic, ridership on Virginia-sponsored rail is 30 to 50% of pre-pandemic levels and growing every day. With this route, the one that started in Lynchburg and extended to Roanoke in 2017, today has the highest ridership of any train in Virginia and is consistently one of the most profitable in the United States. That initial $17.5 million in 2009 was the impetus for what was announced on March 30th, the $3.7 billion Transforming Rail in Virginia that will transform rail along the 95 corridor, unlock the gridlock across the Potomac, which is at 98%, and most importantly, create within Virginia the opportunity to improve, enhance, and expand rail across our Commonwealth. We have certainly come a long way because of so many people, many of you who are here today, and because of our governor. I recently had the opportunity to present to Congress on our rail initiatives to the House Transportation and Infrastructure Rail Subcommittee. In my testimony, I explained that we have a governor in Virginia who believes in moving as many people and goods as possible across all modes of transportation in an equitable and environmentally sustainable way, and always with an eye on bringing economic development, job creation, and opportunity to all people in all regions of Virginia. which is why it is my great pleasure to introduce the 73rd Governor of our Commonwealth, the Honorable Ralph Northam.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. It is great to be back in the New River Valley, back in Christensburg, and while I hail from the other side of this great Commonwealth on the Eastern Shore, I do have connections here in the New River Valley. I went to school just up the road, a little bit past Blacksburg, up in Lexington, and my roommate of 4 years lives in Floyd, Virginia, so I always enjoy coming back to Christensburg. Mayor, it's great to be back here in your town, and thank you for your leadership. I am glad that Shannon and the mayor recognize that there are so many people that have been part of this project and announcement today going back many years, and on behalf of the Commonwealth, I want to thank all of you that have been recognized, but I also want to recognize someone who has put in a lot of work into this, and that's the Secretary of Transportation that you just heard from, Shannon Valentine. You know, when we started 3.5 years ago, we had a lot of discussions and said, you know, we really can't pave our way out of congestion across this great Commonwealth, and we've got to look at other means of transportation. And so certainly rail and transit have been part of that, and she has just been so dedicated with her team. A lot of them are here today, but the recent announcement that we had to expand Long Bridge, which has always been a bottleneck coming across the Potomac River, the agreement with Amtrak, Norfolk Southern, who is here today, CSX, to bring more passenger rail to Virginia. It has been a real team effort, and so she has led an endeavor of probably over $8 billion of investment in transportation and infrastructure in the Commonwealth. So Shannon, I thank you and your team for all of your great work, and please give Shannon Valentine a round of applause. Thank you. I also want to recognize Jim Squires. Jim, welcome, and his wife Karen, welcome back to the Commonwealth. We miss you here. As you all know, he is the CEO of Norfolk Southern. It's great to see Mike Mcclellan and Andrea. Thank you all for making the trip here from Norfolk, Virginia. We have a lot of elected officials that have already been recognized, but always good to see our friend Congressman Morgan Griffith. Morgan, thank you for all that you've done for the Southwest. Our Senator John Edwards, Delegate Hurst, Senator Deeds, who I don't believe is with us today, Senator Mcclellan, thank you so much for joining us, and NRV Passenger Rail Group for making this day truly possible. And as I said, this is a great day for rail in the Commonwealth and a great day for the New River Valley. We're here for two important reasons. First, I'm pleased to announce that we are bringing passenger rail to the New River Valley for the first time, Mayor, since I believe 1979, so congratulations. Today, we are making a commitment to invest $257 million to create this vital connection between Southwest Virginia and other parts of the Commonwealth and beyond. And yes, while we're bringing rail to Blacksburg and Christensburg, we're not finished, and we want to take it all the way out to Bristol to open up the great Southwest. So I hope you all join in that endeavor. Norfolk Southern and Virginia have reached an agreement on the Western Rail Initiative, which is a critical component of our Transforming Rail in Virginia initiative to build a 21st century statewide rail network across our Commonwealth. Through the Western Rail Initiative, we'll acquire approximately 28.5 miles of the Virginia line from the Salem crossovers west of Roanoke to Merrimack and Christensburg. We'll make improvements to the Roanoke Yard and invest in infrastructure upgrades along the 2981 corridor to accommodate the new service. We'll also improve railroad infrastructure between Salem and Christensburg. And up at the northern end of this line, we'll build a 7-mile siding from Nokesville to Calverton, creating a continuous 2-track corridor for 22 miles from Manassas to Remington. What this means is we're extending passenger rail service, creating connections to Christensburg, Blacksburg, and serving the entire New River Valley. We're also planning a second train between Roanoke and D.C. that extends into the Northeast Corridor in 2022. When improvements are completed in 2025, both trains will be extended to the New River Valley. These improvements will serve an additional 80,000 new riders in the very first year. For the New River Valley region, home to 180,000 residents and 40,000 college students, these improvements will have a major impact. Now, something that's kind of interesting, when you talk to younger folks than me, of course, I grew up with trains. I lived in Europe and had the opportunity to use trains there. But a lot of young folks say, well, we've never been on a train. We get there other ways. But when they take that train, they realize that's the best way to travel. They can stay on their devices all day, do whatever they want to do. And so I think what you'll see with Virginia Tech here in Radford, I think you'll see a lot of students really taking advantage of our rail. And these opportunities that we're talking about will create more economic opportunities, fuel tourism, and provide greater access to jobs, bringing, listen to this, over $2 billion into our economy each year. To support this, I also want to recognize Senator John Edwards and Delegate Chris Hurst for sponsoring legislation, which we'll be signing to create the New River Valley Passenger Rail Station Authority. Thank you all so much for your great work in Richmond. The authority will include towns and counties in the area: Floyd, Giles, Montgomery, and Pulaski counties, the city of Radford, and the towns of Blacksburg, Christensburg, Floyd, Narrows, Parisburg, Pembroke, Pulaski, and Rich Creek. The legislation also allows Virginia Tech, Radford University, and the New River Community College to join the authority. Our institutions of higher learning, higher education, are truly valued partners. The authority is an important tool for cost sharing and economic development, and it will help the Commonwealth with creating and supporting passenger rail stations in the region. This is a dream. It was literally a dream that started, as Shannon said, back in 2009. So I look forward to continuing to partner with all of you here in the New River Valley and finally make that dream a reality. So in train language, I say all aboard and full steam ahead. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Governor. A great day. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Jim Squires, President, CEO, Chairman of the Board for Norfolk Southern, who the first time I met you said had the most interesting resume. I will say studied ancient Greek at Amherst College, served in the U.S. Army, and has a law degree from the University of Chicago. But what I really want you to know is that we would not be here without you and without a great team in Mike Mcclellan and John Edwards, who I consider very worthy negotiators. So it's been a great partnership, and I really thank you, and I thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Valentine, for your kind words. And I also want to thank Mayor Barber for hosting us today. It really speaks to the importance of this announcement that so many of Virginia's leaders are present with us today. So I want to begin by echoing the governor and saying that today is a good day. Virginia and Norfolk Southern have worked cooperatively to reach your goal of expanding reliable and sustainable passenger service, and that's certainly something to celebrate. And we congratulate Virginia for being a great partner, a model partner, and for engaging in such a deliberative process to reach this milestone moment. Norfolk Southern, uh-oh.
That was very good.
That was worthy of a Zoom moment, as I was saying. So we owe a responsibility to deliver freight for our customers. We're a freight transportation company. And the lines here play a vital role in moving goods and material that drive the regional and the national economy, the growth that the governor spoke so eloquently about. And that's why our close collaboration was critical to ensuring safety efficiency, economic development, because mixing freight and passenger trains is a complex business. Norfolk Southern is deeply committed to the Commonwealth of Virginia, to its people, to its economy, and to the communities where we operate through the great Commonwealth. And today's announcement underscores what can be accomplished when parties work together as partners, acting in good faith, moving through a thoughtful process to arrive at a solution that works for all. So finally, we look forward to working with everyone to put today's agreement into action. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we have a special guest with us here today, Congressman Morgan Griffith. You started your career in the House of Delegates. We overlapped for a few years when Congressman Griffith was then Majority Leader in the House. Today, he represents the 9th Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives and is a member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee. Please help me welcome Congressman Morgan Griffith.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be with you on this day and really appreciate all the hard work that was put in. I look out, and Governor, you mentioned earlier about your roommate from Floyd. My senior roommate, Wally Nelson, was one of the big movers and shakers here in the area and was previously recognized. Ray Smoot, Sandy Davis, so many people have worked hard on this. John and Shannon, thank you for all the work you did. I have to confess, anybody who studies the record would know that I missed the train in Lynchburg and I missed the train in Roanoke. So I wanted to make sure I got on in Christensburg. I was a little skeptical, but when the ridership numbers came in, it made it clear that this was something that needed to be done and that we needed to include the New River Valley. And so you can imagine when I'm sitting in Washington and one of my young staffers comes in and says, "Why are you such a big proponent of this long bridge?" I said, "You can't get more traffic on the tracks if you don't have the long bridge." So while it's all the way up there in northern Virginia, the impact of that is right here today, and I was proud to be a part of that effort to make sure that we had the deal worked out on Long Bridge, because it took some finagling and some maneuvering and some bill signings. But I appreciate that, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And again, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the vision of both Shannon Valentine and John Edwards and the work of the state of Virginia and the local government and the folks here in the New River Valley. So thank you all for letting me be a part of it. May God continue to bless each and every one of you and continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And you know, Congressman, you were so right. We had to get that piece done across Long Bridge, which was often so hard to explain. I give a great deal of credit to Director Mitchell for, we'd go into public hearings all across Virginia, and they'd all say, "We need to get Long Bridge done." But this is why it opened the gateway up for us. I do want to say hello and welcome Danny Plogger as well from Virginians for High-Speed Rail, who's been a partner with us from the very beginning. So thank you for being here. And Jennifer Mcclellan, sorry that I missed you earlier. Thank you for being here. It is now my great pleasure to introduce to you Senator John Edwards, a man who was born, raised, and dedicated to Roanoke your entire life, as all of the citizens in the 21st Senate District know. You have won 6 consecutive terms in the seven. It must have been an outdated Wikipedia. Anyway, 7 consecutive terms, which I can say, yes, speaks for itself, but from my own personal experience of working with Senator Edwards, I know his commitment to service, I know his passion to rail, and I really appreciate you being here today. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the patron of SB 1212, Senator John Edwards.
Thank you, Shannon Valentine. We've been great friends for a long, long time, and thank you for getting the train in 2009 when Governor Kane was here. He started that off, and that's what got started the train west of Lynchburg. But I also want to say that Shannon Valentine, Secretary Valentine, has been the most accomplished and the best Secretary of Transportation we've ever had. Give her a round of applause. She is dedicated and has done so much. And I also want to say a word to Jennifer Mitchell, the director of DRPT. Jennifer, you've done a great job, too. Thank you for all you've done. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my good friend on the Senate Judiciary Committee, who's also running for something you probably heard of. Another Jennifer. We love the name Jennifer. Jennifer Mcclellan. Jennifer, stand up. She's running for governor. But she's been a great friend of mine for a long time and deserves a round of applause. And speaking of McClellans, we got a couple of McClellans here. Mike McClellan from Norfolk Southern and his wonderful wife, Andrea McClellan. Stand up. Andrea's running for something, too. Lieutenant Governor. Lieutenant Governor Andrea McClellan, all from Norfolk Southern. And Jim Squires, I had no idea you majored in classics, or in Greek at Amherst. Goodness gracious, my Greek is minimal to zero. My Latin is bad too, and my French isn't very good. My English is, I'm still working on that. But you learned, can you speak some Greek for me? It was fantastic. Thank you and thank you, Norfolk Southern, for what you all have done. You know, Roanoke wouldn't exist except for Norfolk Southern. We know that. It was Norfolk and Western once upon a time, but Roanoke is still a train town, and we welcome you to come back to Roanoke anytime you can. Let me give you a little bit of, I want to thank you also. This wouldn't happen except for the group called NRV Rail 2020. Give yourself a round of applause. And I want to say hi to Diane Akers. Diane Akers, where are you? You're out there somewhere. Thank you for all your leadership, and so many of you, Ray Smoots and so many of the people, Sandy Davis and many others, local people who really care about this community and are true citizens that care about the community to the point of giving their time and their effort and their vision to make this happen. Without the NRV Rail 2020, I don't know what we would do. Now, it says NRV Rail 2020. If I'm not mistaken, 2020 came and went. Thank God it's gone. We're happy it's now 2021. Does anybody ever want to go back to 2020? I don't think so. But thank you all for what you've done. Now, we didn't make it quite in 2020, but we're moving forward, and it's going to, in a couple of years, I believe we're going to have a second train from Roanoke. So this train is extremely important to this whole region. What, $2 billion economic impact, I think the governor said? Something like that. 28 miles are going to be acquired by DRP, I believe it is, Division of Rail and Public Transportation, in order to make this work. It's so important to this region. Let me give you a little bit of background. Shannon mentioned in 2009, Governor Kane started the train from Lynchburg north. Extremely important. The following fall, I had a town meeting on the future of rail passenger in Western Virginia that ultimately led to getting a bus. I said, I don't want a bus, I want a train. But we had to start with a bus in 2011, which was extremely important in showing that there was a true need for the bus. We thought at first we'd have maybe a little van. No, we had a bus that was filled up. And it worked so well that in 2017, we finally got a train. Boy, was that important. And the train, we thought we could get maybe 51,000 new riders out of Roanoke with the train in 2017. The first year is over 120,000 new riders, if I'm not mistaken. The next year, 2019, over 230, I believe, thousand new riders on the train from Roanoke. And then in 2020, the first 2 months is 14% above that. So as Shannon mentioned, the Roanoke train has been so important. It's making money for Amtrak. It's one of the most successful trains that Amtrak has, as I understand it. And so now the logical thing is to come to the New River Valley. And the benefit to the New River Valley is enormous. A $2 billion economic impact, what's going to happen to the New River Valley? It's going to be tremendous. It's going to help to get trains, get people off of the I-81. Think of the students here at Virginia Tech. So many students are in Northern Virginia and further north. And those students, wouldn't it be great for them to be able to take a train and protect their lives from not having to fight I-81 traffic? Now, we're moving forward with improving I-81, as you know. And with the governor's leadership, we've done enormous transportation this past couple of years. In fact, this governor has done more in terms of transportation improvements in this Commonwealth and so many other things as well than any other governor since in transportation since 1986, Governor. Thank you so much, Governor, for what you've done. The transportation package we had last year, not only for roads and I-81, but also for rails. And setting up this rail authority that you've completed, this is going to make all the difference in the world. But from Roanoke, as I mentioned, the first few years it's grown enormously. But when it comes to the New River Valley, it'll be tremendous both for the students, for the parents, and also people who work here. And has anybody thought about the fact, and I keep telling Dr. Sands this, you know, the connection between Roanoke and Alexandria? Have you thought about that? They've been in a graduate school, you know, Virginia Tech up in Alexandria. They go along with Amazon up there. This connection between the New River Valley and Northern Virginia is going to be tighter and tighter. And by taking a train rather than fighting the traffic, it's going to be a tremendous benefit to everybody. So keep that in mind. So I'm really proud to have a part in playing to make sure we got this transportation package through the last year, both with regard to rails and also with regard to the interstate. And my good friend of mine, Chris Hurst, was a co-author. He had his own bill in the House. I had a bill in the Senate to create this authority, which is so important to get the train here. So let me, am I introducing Chris? I'm not sure. But anyway, I want to thank you all for this is a huge day for the Roanoke New River Valley. It's a huge day for the Roanoke Valley. This will be a second train out of Roanoke, so everybody in Roanoke is excited as well. So I want to thank you all for being here and your support over the years and your continuing support for something that is truly important to this valley. Thank you all very much for being here.
So, and Senator, the second train out of Roanoke is going to start in 2022. So we don't have long to wait for that. I'm now have the privilege of introducing Delegate Chris Hurst, who represents the 12th House District here in the Commonwealth, who has been such a great partner in rail and in highways and in transportation. Many of you may not know this, but Delegate Hurst was instrumental in working across the aisle with Delegate Austin and Delegate Tony Wilt to secure the funding for the $2 billion I-81 improvement plan. So I really thank you for that work. And Governor, there's a lot going on there. And Ken King, the district engineer from Salem, is here, and he's responsible for a lot of this. We're going to get him back, Ken, for some groundbreakings. But Delegate Hurst also serves on the I-81 Advisory Committee, the Governor's Broadband Advisory Committee, and the Tobacco Region Revitalization Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the patron of HB 1893, Delegate Chris Hurst.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I'll be brief because I don't think that there are many more people to acknowledge out here except everybody here. I want to start first by, can everybody who's been a part of NRV Rail 2020, 2021 just raise their hand? I mean, this is your community in action. These are the people who laid the groundwork for us to be here where we are today. I can only be as effective in Richmond if I have the support of the local officials and the community leaders who are able to set an agenda and try and accomplish big things. And I have to also give credit to Ray Smoot being a wonderful advocate for the Salem District on our CTB. We have Chairman of the board here, Steve Fichikowski for Montgomery County. I see Mayor Leslie Hager-Smith in the way back. I see Mayor Radford, David Horton here, Mayor Barber. You all continue to show up and deliver things for your people. And this, I don't think, can be, you can't find a bigger example, certainly not something that's going to be as visible as we are going to have when this first train from Amtrak comes here to Christensburg. We are literally putting the New River Valley on the map today, and that is a hell of a deal to celebrate. And I don't know about you, but I couldn't be more happy to be here and to be a part of this. You know, I may have had a part to play. I think Secretary Valentine is very gracious when she mentions what we did back in 2019, but we were in the back room haggling over how much we were going to increase gas taxes in order to pay for the Interstate 81 improvements. And lo and behold, now here where we are, some of that money, with CTB's approval, is going to also be used for the purchase of this agreement. And that means that we are really addressing things up and down the entire Interstate 81 corridor with different modes of transportation. It was also mentioned in our 81 Advisory Committee the other week that we are going to be increasing capacity for the Virginia Breeze bus system, which has been incredibly popular for us along the 81 corridor. We are doing amazing things in the New River Valley. When I go to Richmond now, they don't lump us in together with Roanoke or Charlottesville. They know us as an individual community. They know us as a dedicated region, and that is different, and it's because of your leadership that we are here today talking about great big things for the New River Valley. I couldn't be happier to be here also too with our governor, who in addition to being a champion and being dogged to get 81 funding and to also bring passenger rail here to Christensburg, also has led the way for $100 million in broadband infrastructure investments throughout the entire Commonwealth of Virginia. Montgomery County just got a grant for more than $1 million. Giles County is putting in a $600,000 grant that will put 3,000 people in Giles County who previously don't have internet service will finally get it because of investments that have been made here in Virginia because of your leadership, Governor. So thank you very much for what you've done. I also have to say thank you to someone who's a mentor to me, frankly, and that's Senator Edwards, who has been a real champion on trains and on Amtrak for many, many years. And I just thank you very much for your continued leadership for this entire region and for what you've done for the Roanoke and the New River Valleys. We are two valleys. We have a lot in common. And I think that we only are going to continue the coordination that we've seen over the last few years. And if we do that, we can really start to imagine a region that will be even more impactful for the rest of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And again, we are known now as the New River Valley throughout the whole Commonwealth. And that's because of people like you who have been doing the work to get us to this day. So I don't want to hold up things anymore. So I'll hand it back over to Secretary Valentine, who I also think deserves special accolades too for being probably the most hands-on secretary that I deal with in Richmond, someone who is on the ground talking to legislators each and every day to get her agenda accomplished, one that thankfully over the last 4 years has involved the New River Valley in so many different ways. So thank you very much for your determination and your grit in getting this done. So thank you all very much for being here, and this is a great day for all of us. Thank you.
Whew! What a great day in the New River Valley. Oh, my goodness. I just want to share one last statistic with you, actually two. At the 10th anniversary of that very first train in Lynchburg, I shared that in 2009, rail reached 49% of Virginians, 53% of jobs. Today, rail reaches 77% of Virginians, 88% of jobs. In other words, not enough. Thank you all for being here. And now, I believe we're going to have a signing of our New River Valley Station Passenger Rail Station Authority. Okay, thank you.
Railroad family. My dad worked for the railroad, but he died at age 230. My mother was 4 months pregnant with me and 2 other children. So nothing blessed me. Put a lot of things on my table for a long time. I appreciate that. Well, thank you. Thank you for those kind words. Best of luck. Thank you, Congressman. Appreciate your presence as well. It's a great day. Virginia's a model.